The plan here with AnyQuestions is to really, really be available for any vertical. I'm curious, are there any other verticals? Or I think that's probably a good vertical to go with. It's probably one of the verticals I'd look at as we add all these other verticals, and we're going to be adding on lots more verticals.
What the hell is a vertical? Am I a vertical? What on earth? Never heard of that before. What's up, guys? For some of you in the triathlon world, I'm sure you've seen in the last 1 to 2 days this controversy around AnyQuestion. So the two biggest triathletes in the world, Lucy Charles-Barclay and Jan Frodeno, have been posting about it. They're experts in this app. So what the hell is AnyQuestion? So I have done a screen recording and I was going to show it here, but I don't want to get sued by them for showing premium content for free on YouTube. So I'm going to use their screenshots here. So essentially what it is, it's a subscription based app where you pay $15 a month US, and you get access to this app where at the moment it's just triathletes. Professional triathletes are answering the questions that you ask in there. They're answering them via video. So you open the app, you see a list of all these professional triathletes, and you basically scroll through and you can see them answer a whole bunch of questions. So screenshot here from the App Store. This is what it looks like. It kind of looks like TikTok. So you open it up, you land on a triathletes page, you swipe left, I think, and it goes through a bunch of questions they've answered. They answer them via video, like holding their phone, like talking to the camera, answering your training questions. Then you swipe up and it moves to the next athlete. So you can see different people's questions. So you can ask questions as well. So you can submit your questions and then hopefully they answer them. And that's essentially it. It's basically a way for you to communicate, not one-to-one. So you're not necessarily answering questions and they're answering your questions. You're submitting more general questions and they're answering them for everyone else to see. Now it's caused a bit of a stir because I'll show you some of the people's comments. So on Jan Frodeno's Instagram, this is a post he did sort of announcing it. He says, always had a burning desire to ask me a question. Now you can ask me anything and get the answer. Use the link in the bio to download the app. Some of the comments, there's quite a few negative comments saying, can't believe you and Lucy are on board with this app. Downwards, thumb down, thumb down. Jan responded, why not? If it's not for you, no need to subscribe. I mean, that's a bit of a cop-out. If people are genuinely don't back what you're doing, then I don't think it's necessarily okay to just say, well, if you don't like it, go away. So he's a bit more of a discussion here. Other questions, can't wait for your OnlyFans. $15 a month to ask Jan a question. Is Lionel's Discord channel free? So Lionel Sanders must have a free Discord channel where you can ask him questions. I didn't know that. Let's keep going through. So at the moment, it's just professional triathletes that are in there, but down the track, they're gonna get more verticals in there answering people's questions, or experts from other sports. Why does it cost money to ask questions? Oh, please don't charge me for this one. Oh gosh. It certainly doesn't, but you can get to ask your question to any expert and have a library where it's all recorded, and soon many more fields of interest will be added. Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, just a lot of people going, well, why the hell would I pay money to ask you a question? I've had a look through the app. I'm going to give my thoughts and comments on what I think about it. So when I first saw them announcing this, like I'm naturally a skeptical person. I was like, this is like red flags, red flag alert, where it's like a coordinated release. They're posting it at the same time. Link in bio, download the app. It is weird, like essentially paying $15 a month to just see people answer questions. Like that's what social media I think should generally be for anyway. Like getting people to pay for it rubs me a bit the wrong way, but it doesn't mean there's no merit to it. I think it is all reliant on the quality of the information and the quality of answers in there. And the problem is professional athletes, they'll have lots of sponsors and they're trained over years to answer questions in a certain way, which is why it's hard to get a real truthful answer out of a professional athlete because they're so trained to give like generic answers. Like, what do you use for this? They'll have sponsors. Usually they're like plugging sponsors. It's very difficult for a triathlete to break out of that way of thinking where they're always giving these generic answers. Like if you had really good experts in there and good professional athletes giving really good information and also getting asked the right questions, it could be a value add. Like you could be getting information in there that wouldn't be available elsewhere on regular social media. But to get that, you've got to have a really high quality level of expert or professional athlete giving good answers, and that's where sort of the problem lies in my mind. Because I think if there's a lot of questions being answered in there and answered in a high enough level, then I don't think it's necessarily a joke. Like, I wouldn't be so up in arms like some of the people in the comments being like, oh, why would you pay money to ask a question? Like, $15 a month, and this, I'll get into this in the video, the pricing, but paying $15 a month, if there was a very big volume of very well answered questions, I think, that seems reasonable. I think in this day and age with Patreon and stuff, like, people might pay $15 a month to one content creator, whether it's on YouTube or something like that. Like, people are willing to pay a monthly fee if they're getting a good level of information. So potentially there is some merit in it. What's the level of stuff that I was seeing in there at the moment as it is now, though? I probably wouldn't want to pay for that, but that's sort of my personal opinion. Now, in terms of the pricing, this is what I don't understand, because if Lucy Charles and Jan Frodeno, right, if they're in it for the money, and I mean the money, the income from actually being on the app, not some bonus payment they're getting for promoting the app. If the experts in the app at the moment getting paid by the app to answer questions in there, if that is becoming a source of income, then I find it confusing why they wouldn't have monetized that Q&A style of thing before. Like, why wouldn't they have just advertised, hey, just join my Patreon and I'll answer your questions in there, and then they could get the money directly. Like, at the moment, you're paying $15 a month to get access to heaps of different professional athletes answering questions, but then they'd be splitting the revenue, like the app would take a cut. Then that would have to be spread amongst all the experts that are in there, I guess, based on how many views they're getting. I'm not sure. I'd be very interested to know how the athletes are actually getting paid, because at the moment, it doesn't make much sense. Like, if there was a big demand for people to get answers to specific questions asked of individual athletes, I feel like that's something that would have already been monetized by them previously on their own. As I said, they could have started their own Patreon and gone, hey, like Jan Frodeno could have created, even if it was a Facebook group, and say, here, pay me $15 a month and you can be in this Facebook group and ask me questions. Like, he could have already done that. I don't see why having this app makes that more monetizable for him. Like, it actually seems a bit too cheap. You would think, like, initially when I saw the thing, I was like, oh, you're paying $15 a month to ask questions just of like Jan Frodeno. But it's not. You pay your $15 and you're seeing the answers to that all these athletes are giving. Surely that's what social media is just for anyway. Like, just like this YouTube channel, I'm answering questions for free. Surely there's a better way to monetize that so that people get access to that information for free. Whether it's, I don't know, Jan Frodeno, why couldn't he do a Q&A? Why couldn't Jan Frodeno do a Q&A thing sponsored by Canyon Bikes or something? Like, surely there's another way to monetize the information he's putting out without necessarily charging people for it. Like, it'd be really cool if there was a way to not charge people but still get the same level of information from an athlete. Essentially, that's my thoughts on AnyQuestion. I guess at the moment it was only released like a day ago, so we have to kind of watch this space, see what sort of experts they get on there, see what sort of information is actually in the app. As I said before, it's all dependent on the quality of the answers in there. If someone pays for their first month and they're like, this is just trash that I could get, this is just generic stuff that I could be getting for free on any other platform, then it's not really going to have legs. But there is what I would say would be a small chance that it does become something of value if the information in there is quite valuable and interesting. So yeah, interested to see the development of AnyQuestion over the next few months and see where it leads. So that's it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.